Boys and girls, it's James Kalm, your half-assed reporter. And we are coming to you from the Whitney Museum. It's May 13th, 2019, and we're going to drop in and take a look at this year's iteration of the Whitney Biennial. Stay tuned. Excuse me. I think these are the curators.
Thank you, Scott and Adam. And thank you guys all for coming and being here. And we're super excited to talk to you a little bit about the show and our process. Yes. So we're thrilled to finally be here. This is a process that started almost 2 years ago when Scott did look us in the eye and invite us to do this. Of terror, excitement, in dual equal parts. So we would like to start with thanking both of you, Scott and Adam. Throughout this process, you've been tireless supporters of us, fearless supporters, advocates for our vision, protectors of our vision, and of us. This is a really intense process, so thank you. We're really grateful for the decision that you made to offer us this opportunity and for standing with us and staying with us over this very long process that actually continues into the fall. We're not done after today. In the 18 months that we've been working on it, we did over 300 studio visits. We traveled extensively throughout the United States to nearly 25 cities and locations. We were spent a total of 14 weeks on the road when we calculated, which is kind of a shocking number. Not continuously, but it's a long time. And we did this together, and that was really important to us. We felt strongly that we needed to work as a team, and that it was really important for us to see the work together, to see the artists together, to go to these places together, so that when it came time to make these critical decisions about what you see here, we would be on the same page and have a similar backlog of experience to draw upon. So this was really fundamental to our experience, and I have to say it's been a true honor and a pleasure to work with Jane on this. We did it. So we wanted to think a lot, we thought a lot about how the biennial would look and feel. We wanted it to think about, rather than perhaps monographic rooms, which sometimes these types of shows would privilege, we really wanted to think about how to put artists into dialogue with each other. This is something that we drew from actually our work here at the Whitney. As curators at this institution, we work with the collection, putting together shows where the work and the artists are in dialogue with each other in one room. So while some rooms may have only one artist, others may have as many as 4 to 5. This was an attempt to tease out conversations that we saw happening amongst the various artists, as well as kind of in the broader run of the show. And for us, this felt like a really incredible opportunity, both a challenge, but also an opportunity and a way to really utilize the incredibly flexible exhibition space that we have here at the Whitney. I think one of the most exciting things about being asked to do this show is that you know that this is meant to be a snapshot of contemporary art making over the past years. That it's sort of that very tall order. And this has always been the show's distinguishing hallmark. While it's inevitably impossible to fully encapsulate such a broad period or region, Ru and I feel strongly that the show represents many of the important ideas and artistic impulses at play in this moment. Some key issues and approaches of the works on view include this idea of the mining of history as a means to reimagine the present or future, a profound and sustained consideration of questions of race, gender, and equity, and explorations of the vulnerability of the body. And these were not themes we kind of went into the process overlaying onto what we saw. I would say we really went out into the process with a very open mind, and these were the things we were seeing that kind of began to bubble up. Concerns for community also appear throughout the exhibition in the content and social engagement of the work, as well as in the ways that artists navigate the world. Many of the artists emphasize the physicality of their materials, whether in sculptures assembled out of found objects, heavily worked paintings, or painstakingly detailed drawings. A related emphasis on artists' hands suggests a rejection of the digital space and related slick package presentations of the self in favor of overall, I would say, more individualized and idiosyncratic work.
But beyond this, and maybe more importantly for Rue and I, this biennial is a reminder of the ways in which artists grapple with difficult contemporary issues and consistently stay engaged with aesthetic and formal questions, either exclusively or in the service of particular ideas or messages. Accordingly, the biennial for us is deliberately not any single thing, and we hope it suggests an emphasis on the ideas equal to the ways in which artists impart them. Beyond this, we are grateful and proud of the museum for allowing us the chance to show this important work and to welcome the ideas and practice of these 75 artists into the space of the Whitney. Well, thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, 6th floor.
Wir sind aber noch nicht ganz oben, ne?
Doch, 6.
Aber hier steht 8.
Nee, aber 6 ist der.
Okay.
Well, as I said, we're here for the 2019 Whitney Biennial. This is kind of like the Super Bowl. I was thinking Super Bowl, but maybe more like the Tiddlywink Championships of the United States. And this is the press preview. The 2019 Whitney Biennial is the 79th installment of the longest-running survey of recent American art, often described as a snapshot of art in the United States. The biennial brings together work by individuals and collectives in a broad array of mediums. I've been covering these exhibitions for probably at least the last 5 editions. And, well, as they say in the comments by the 2 curators, this is a snapshot of contemporary art. Onto that, I would add that this is not only this is a snapshot of the curator's view, which I've compared to a photograph through the porthole of a ship that is in a canal at dusk. But I think the other part to it is this is also a snapshot of what is being allowed to be shown by institutions like the Whitney. So we have to bear all those things in mind when we think about what a show like the Whitney Biennial represents. Also, a lot of people that are thinking that the Whitney is a very important and prestigious show, and of course it is. And I think it's hard to measure exactly how much being included in the Whitney Biennial would mean to someone over their lifetime earnings or prestige. But the other side to that is that all you have to do is pick up a catalog of the Whitney Biennial from 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and you'll see that about 90% of these people have fallen back into obscurity. So it's nice to be in the Whitney, but it's a fleeting glory. Okay, maybe we should start with a visit to this video. It's titled Triple Chaser, and this is about the controversy regarding the board member Warren B. Kanders, who has a company that manufactures tear gas.
Disorientation. Danger. Danger of blast or crush-type injuries. Danger of pulmonary edema. Danger of disturbed cardiac rhythm. Danger of convulsion. Danger of impaired breathing. danger of cerebral edema. Several members of our team have experienced the effects of tear gas. One was amongst the Turkish citizens who protested in Gezi Park in 2013. During the nationwide protests that followed, Turkish police fired 130,000 tear gas grenades. While tear gas is banned from use in war, governments use it to suppress the right of civilians to collectively protest in public space. Safariland sells tear gas grenades around the world. We have found evidence of its use against civilians in the US, Turkey, Peru, Iraq, Israel, Palestine, Yemen, Bahrain, Tunisia, Guyana, Venezuela, Egypt, and Canada.
Well, I have been tear gassed on several times when I was in the military. We actually had a little training exercise where you would put on your gas mask, go into a darkened building and find your way through a maze in the dark while you were in tear gas. And once you got to the end of it, they took off your mask and made you run out in the tear gas. It was fun. This is the installation by Nicole Eisenman. It's titled Procession. And, well, I actually thought that Nicole and Mr. Cantor could be collaborating on a project here. We'll see how this works out. Oh! Oh! Ah, that's burning my eyes. Oh, whoa! Oh. It's a group of large paintings by Calvin Marcus. As I was saying, I think there's about 75 people in this show. And this is titled LA Painting. I'm actually kind of thinking about Ed Ruscha with that one. So there's 75 artists in the show. I may not get to everybody. Also, it's always tough to get the labels and the titles and the descriptions. So we're just going to do this in our typical half-assed way of progressing here. I was impressed with the statement by the curators that they were coming across a lot of work that was dealing with the handmade mark, the well-worked painting, the detailed drawing. This is by Martina Sims, People Who Aren't Friends or Lovers or Excess. So we've got text and liquid text and is it photographs?
Is this where reality show definitely need a person who is like, I'm not here to make friends.
Okay, looks like scenes from LA.
Understand your threat model, what you want to keep private, and who you want to protect it from.
This is also by Martina Sims.
No, I'm going to do something about it. But what? What am I going to do about it? No one's going to profit from me.
Introduction to Threat Assessment.
Hi, Lou. I hope you're well.
This is Lucas Blakelock. Some eggs. and bananas. These are inkjet prints mounted on aluminum. It's a large piece by Lucas, and he's also got like a billboard size piece across the street. This is titled The Nonconformist, 2017 inkjet print mounted on aluminum. It's a Reagan by Reagan Moss. And they are acrylic, polyurethane, copper, and steel hardware. Well, I was talking about the protesters, and they circulated a letter to, I guess, 75 of the artists, and I guess about 50 of them signed it, but I guess if you're a real believer, you would have pulled out of the exhibition, but wow, that would be a real sacrifice. Having the Whitney Biennial on your resume is going to boost your life earnings by maybe millions of dollars. It's titled Author with Arm, 2018. Romanettes with double hearts. This is Marlon Mullen. Nice little suite of paintings. These are all entitled, all 2018, and they're all acrylic on canvas. Kind of like the text in here. And I think Marlon kind of represents a trend, kind of the de-skilling of painting. Elizabeth Murray, Oscar Blumner, Christian Engelmer, Grant Wood. Okay. Art in America, Internet. Okay, so maybe this is his version of the Art in America webpage. Rama, Michael Borrow. I see that one's probably about 42 by 50 inches, something like that. It's a series of videos by Ilyana Harris Balbao. So I've got 3 major sculptures by Wengichi Mutu. I like the way that Wengichi's working in her, it's like driftwood into the clay. Oh, and she's got some pottery. And I like the analogous forms between the bones or the curve of the thigh and these pieces of wood. This is by Wungichi. This is poems by my great-grandmother. So we've got some bull horns. Looks like maybe a skull, some more wood, and some kind of aluminum drum. It's a video installation by Carolyn Lazard. Okay, I was talking to another visitor and they were saying this kind of made them feel like going to their dentist office and getting their jaw x-rayed.
Read the Kalm report?
I am the Kalm Report. This is by Robert Bitbender. This piece is titled Broadway Nights 2015, Steel Wood Frame Jewelry and Other Materials. In the press conference, the two curators talked about kind of focusing in on a lot of artists that were showing the work of the hand, kind of a rejection of the machine and the screen, and using abject materials like this. Also, I think there's a certain kind of a spillover from what has been called the outsider movement recently, and institutional curators are making note of that. This is by Maya Ruth Lee, Bondage Baggage Prototype number 4. Tarp rope, luggage, bedding, and clothing. More Robert Bittenbender. Sister Carrie 2017. Steel, wire, glass, wood, miscellaneous hardware, and other materials. Looks like he's got some pieces of ceramic tile in there. We're going to look at some pieces by Tamashi Jackson. It's titled The Woman is King. Miriam Marina Simultaneous Contrast 2019. Acrylic on linen and paper with found photographs on PVC vinyl.
What am I gonna do about it? No one's gonna drop this on me except me.
Well, I read a couple reviews, and one of the things that they stress is that a lot of these artists are riffing on art historical precedences, which is pretty standard. This is also by Tamashi Jackson, third-party transfer and making of Central Park. And I like the awning. It's a large hanging by Tamashi. Getting back to the riffing on historical precedences, one of the characters that they were saying has had a great influence on a lot of these artists is Robert Rauschenberg, and So I was thinking it was interesting because I think Rauschenberg passed away in 2007, and in a lot of ways his market kind of slowed down, dried up, went away. He had a major retrospective at the Museum of Modern Art about 2 years ago that I covered. I thought it was a wonderful show. But I think over the weekend they had an auction at Sotheby's or Christie's, and one of his pieces sold for something like $80 million, and despite all the good intentions of curators and dealers, when you have an auction price like that, that's going to make people's attention get focused in a way that all the other stuff is not going to do. So we've got three, I guess what I would call kind of minimalist sculptures by Olga Bolema. This is titled Floor. Tape, styrofoam, wood, and watercolor. More Olga. And this piece, I think, is titled Leaf, and I was in over the weekend, and this piece was, half of it was in the conservator's shop. They had to fix it because it broke in half. Okay, we're gonna look at some work by Brian Belot. Well, I covered one of Brian's first shows in New York at Canada, and maybe 6 months ago I covered his show at Gavin Brown Enterprise, and theoretically they had these pieces, or some of these pieces like this, in the show, but I didn't see them. Okay, these are frozen, some of his books and collages and paintings frozen in blocks of ice. They've got these refrigerator units. Gosh, I wonder what he's putting on the ice to give it that color. If I saw something like that in my refrigerator, I would not eat it. And the other part to that is on the front side of the wall in front of the fan. It's titled Untitled Fan Piece. This is one of Brian's larger pieces, and he's got foam collage, acrylic, plastic. It's an installation of sculpture by Joe Minter. I think Joe is from Alabama, and you can go back in the files. I'm not going to link all these because I would have about 50 links to all the artists that are in the show. But I think these pieces are from an installation that he has around his house. And a lot of these are found objects. Steel. Various things. Heart of Dixie. It's maybe the heartbeat of Dixie. I think this is also another sign that some of the elite institutional curators have started to look at outsider art, particularly maybe black southern vernacular art, more seriously. This is by Todd Gray. It's titled Euclidean Grigri, which I think is maybe an interesting pun on his name. I think that might be a Michael Jackson shoulder. These are 4 inkjet prints with artists' frames. More Todd Gray. I like this one with the toned down colors. And I was thinking that there's also maybe a reference to John Baldessari here with the way that the faces are covered with the other photos. This is titled PAX 2017. More Todd Gray. Slipping into Darkness, All the Honey Gone, 2018.
נראה המשך של הסורים, להפיק הסורים. לא, אני
This is by Walter Price. It's liking Walter's paintings, kind of naive. Looks like he's got some collage elements in there. This is the biggest piece by Walter, and yeah, I kind of got a little echo of Philip Guston here with some of his elements. These are by Troy Mitchie. I'm not going to give you the titles, but I will tell you that there are paper, woven magazine pieces, fabric, used clothing, found objects.
Yes.
And I believe that maybe he abrades some of these woven sections, a little sanding in there.
Including the
This is a group of works by Horace Kim. These are all mixed media and works on paper mounted on canvas. This piece is graphite on paper, and I kind of like the black sculpture in front here.
I saw her.
It's got a kind of a Mayan or Aztec sculpture codex. This is actually a graphite drawing on paper. It's a video by Laura Ortman. They were saying that they were actually trying to get a lot of video performance and dance into this biennial, and well, I think they did a pretty good job. I've probably seen about 6 or 7 of the dark rooms with the big video screens in there. Got 4 paintings here by Eddie Arroyo. So this is titled 5825 Northeast 2nd Avenue, Miami, Florida. I've got the zip code, acrylic on canvas. So it looks like Eddie is capturing the sides of local buildings, bodegas in his neighborhood. Actually, I like the way that he's kind of massing out and simplifying certain parts of the compositions, and then when he wants to focus in, he can get pretty articulate. Liberté, égalité, fraternity. We're going to look at some sculpture by Danielle Lind Ramos. This is titled 1797 Vencedor. Daniel is one of the more interesting sculptors that I've discovered in this show, and well, just look at some of the materials he's got in here. He's got rope, palm fronds, palm tree trunk, entrenching tool, machete, tin nails, sequins, baseball glove, boots, mirror. This is another piece by Daniel titled Centennial Sentinels, 2013. Okay, this piece is more like an installation. And again, we've got tree trunks, palm fronds, buckets, tubs, coconut, spoons, and I like the way that those hoe heads have been converted into kind of faces there. Eliga.
They told him, by the time we had reached the mean, we hated the sight of the life vests, but used them as pillows when we had to sleep on the street. I tell the cop about the landfill on Lesbos. The cop picks up one of the life vests. He says, this was drawn by a 12-year-old from Aleppo. He's drawn a head in black felt-tip pen, a man with a mustache from a side profile, a bubble with hello. Underneath that bubble is the word sorry.
Nicholas Gallenden. White Noise America. It's a carpet that's wool and cotton. And I like the little squibs of burnt orange in there. This is a blow-up of a TV set back in the analog days. I don't think digital static looks quite the same. Okay, let's go downstairs.
You're already.
Invited to voices.
Oh, I'm Cammy.
What's up, Cam?
I'm Alan.
What's up, Al?
We'll do our quick stroll through so you get an idea about the layout of the installation. This is the 5th floor. I have to say that when the Whitney moved into the new museum, they were saying they increased their floor size by a factor of 3. And one of the nice things about a show like this is that they, some rooms are more densely hung than others, but most of this is pretty spaciously installed. And this is all by Brendan Fernandez. This is a huge painting by Geneva Ellis titled, Uh-oh, Look Who Got Wet. Well, yeah, I'd say this painting is probably something like 10 by 22, 25 feet, something like that. And, yeah. It says that Geneva was born in Oakland, California, but now is residing in Brooklyn. One of the interesting things also about Geneva working on this kind of a scale is that a lot of this is very broadly painted. And then here we've got a couple of sections that are very tightly articulated. Keegan Monaghan, Outsider 2019. Okay. Keegan is kind of a chunky oil painter. And, well, I've commented before about other painters that achieve this kind of facture, kind of called it popcorn impasto. But I like it. One reason is that it shows a certain kind of obsessive intent, and also kind of the feel for the materials. It's very sensual. This is another one by Keegan. This is titled Outside Line. This is Blue Door. One of the other painters I know that builds up his surface is kind of like this, I think, is John Lee. And I like this composition. So we've got the kind of the cut crystal doorknob, and this is the interesting part, the little keyhole. What's happening on the other side there? Got three impressive sculptures by Simon Lee. This piece is titled Stick. I believe this is bronze. This piece is titled Corrugated. Okay, everybody's got to get the time for their selfies. This is bronze and rattan. think Simon Lee is a pretty interesting sculptor. This piece is titled Village. I believe this is ceramic. But it implies a kind of a cornrow hairstyle. Excuse me. Hedge Shin. These are all part of the Baby series. And I wonder how much Hedge was able to manipulate her colors in the photographs. Does add a kind of a painterly quality to some of these images. Okay, smile. It's time for your first selfie. Well, we were talking about Rauschenberg. And I think you can see his influence in some of these. These are by Eric N. Mack. Although I like the kind of the eclectic nature of these, the different things that this artist has put together. It's also by Eric. It's titled Proposition for Wet Gibbons Quilts to Replace the American Flag Permanently. So this is packing blanket, acrylic paper, and collage. Jennifer Packer, Lessons in Longing. This is an unstretched canvas. More by Jennifer Packer. This is Untitled 2019 Oil on Canvas. And Jennifer actually is able to get some nice sensitive portrait things happening. And yeah, I kind of thought of Larry Rivers a little bit when I saw some of this work. More Jennifer Packer. This It's a nice little figure study. This is probably 32 by 24, something like that. It's a video by Koda Ezawa titled National Anthem, and I believe this is based on his watercolor. We better keep moving. Matthew Angelo Harrison did this sculptural installation. Well, I think there's some interesting juxtapositions of intent medium styles. So a lot of this is cast plastic with various kinds of tribal artifacts. We've got a spear inside there. And then Harrison has added these high-tech plinths. Okay, I think I prefer some of these pieces where the resin is not tinted quite as darkly, so you can see the encased objects a little more clearly. Got a lot of photography here. Got some pieces by Paul Makagi Sapuya and Ariel Goldberg. It's entitled Camera Lessons. Giancarlo Monte's Sant'Angelo, Improvising Sight Lines, inkjet prints. Peter Tomka, Friday, May 25th, 2018. Inkjet print. Some more works by Paul Mapagi Sapuya, and in this case it's A.L. Steiner and Clay Kurgian collaborating. So I guess one of Paul's strategies is to have people collaborate with him and take photographs of them photographing him or them together, and then showing these other people's works along with his as part of this collaboration. Caroline Monet video. A group of works here by Josh Klein. These are digital chromatic prints, metal frames, hardware, pumps, water, LED light, glass, acrylic, colored gels, and paint. I like the shapes of the rivulets. Augustina Woodgate. National Times. Okay, but they don't tell us what nation. Maybe it's all right here, right now. And I feel like I'm on the set of a episode of The Twilight Zone. Okay, well, this always takes me back to my days in junior high school when I would sit at the back of the room looking at the clock and the teacher would look at me and say, "Time will pass. Will you?" Gosh. 5:21. Uh-oh, I better hurry. Kyle Thurman. I've got an installation of works. A lot of these are drawings, and they're all titled Suggested Occupations. Okay, now, I thought this was a nice piece. But why they have these things hanging down near the floor is questionable. Okay. More Kyle Thurman. Charcoal and pastel and paper with wood frame. I was actually looking at some of these and getting an echo of Egon Schiele. For some reason, this kind of made me think of Leon Golub. by Marcus Fisher. Kind of like this. This is Untitled. But it gives a new meaning to the term tape loop. I think that there must be about 60 feet, 70 feet of tape continuously rolling through. This is a group of work by Alexandra Bell. And this is all taken from the Daily News in a particular news story. April 21st, 1989. This was a story about a murder in Central Park and a group of neighborhood teenagers that got steamrolled into confessing to the murder. Alexandra has gone in and kind of highlighted particular areas of the text. Wilding Wolf Pack. The suspects were identified. I think Jerry Saltz has mentioned that this relates to the work of Sarah Charlesworth. Got some pretty jazzy hangings by Jeffrey Gibson. And, well, we saw a couple of pieces by Jeffrey up at the Frieze Art Fair a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking in a certain way, this kind of looks like a kimono. Stand your ground. This is canvas, cotton, linen, polyester, nylon, vinyl, sequins, brass grommets, nylon thread, cotton thread, artificial sinew, glass beads, nylon fringe, gross grain ribbon, copper jingles, wooden teepee poles, and deer hide. Christina Sun Kim. I actually like this. This is a series titled Degrees of Deaf Rage. And yeah, Christina has graphed out her various levels of rage on different subjects. Degrees of my deaf rage in the art world. Degrees of deaf rage concerning interpreters. Terps whose voices take over ours. Obtuse rage. Legit rage. Okay. Educational settings. This is a selection of photos by Ella Perez. And I think these might be some of the most poignant photographs in this particular exhibition. I was talking about a lot of these are tracing the narrative of a person that is transitioning. And as I heard, this particular surgery was used to reduce the size of this person's Adam's apple. It's a video installation by Tiona Nakia McLeod. Jeanette Munt. And we've got a suite of pieces here, and they're all titled Born Athlete. And I believe they're oil on canvas with sequins. Well, I saw examples of this series that Jeanette was working on at a big painting show maybe last spring. It was at 2 or 3 different galleries. Green Naftali, Matthew Marks, and it was the 3rd iteration of that show, which was titled something like Painting in the Perpetual Now. And these pieces are all dealing with the Olympic gymnasts. And Jeanette's pretty good technician. I think just formally I like this piece the best. Kind of simplified. And then you've got this all, figures all basically centralized. Got some sculptures by Ayman Isa. These are all titled Heritage Study. I like the sparseness of this piece. I guess this is all brushed aluminum. Somehow makes me think of a Magritte painting. That's kind of provocative. This is a video by Carissa Rodriguez titled The Maid. High definition video, color, sound, 12 minutes and 22 seconds. Okay, drone shot. Coming in for the beautifully designed architectural space. Oh God, we got a Porsche garage, and we got the back terrace, the pool. Let's see the obligatory artwork. Milano Chow floor plan, graphite ink, vinyl paint, and photo transfer on paper. Pat Phillips, The Farm. Well, okay, so I would assume that maybe The Farm, they're talking about the minor league farm team for a basketball franchise. And maybe there's some kind of allegory with the sharecroppers. And Pat has also done this huge.
Close in 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Thank you. Okay. This installation is also by Pat Phillips and it's titled Don't Tread on Me. Acrylic, oil pastel, airbrush wood, and spray paint. And wood. Pat Phillips, Mandingo, Don't Tread on Me, 2018. James Kalm reporting on the 2019 Whitney Biennial here at the Whitney Museum. You can like this, share, recommend it to your friends, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews below. We just ask you to say, thank you, Kate. Thank you.